Hey guys, Tommy, I hope you're well. Here today doing a review of the Honda Rebel 500. This bike has been kindly lent to me by the guys over at Honda Maidstone, so if there's a bike you're interested in, please do check them out. So I've had a few requests to try this bike out. My other half's actually interested in it as well. She's a bit short and she's very curious to see how it is, so I've been quite keen to have a go on one actually. So it's a 471cc parallel twin. It delivers 46 brake horsepower at 8,500 RPM and 44.6 Newton meters of torque at 6,000 RPM. So seat height, which is the thing that I think a lot of people think about with these, 690 millimeters, so really low. I'm 6 foot, inside leg measurement at 33 inches, and I weigh about 90 kilos, and yeah, no problems at all for someone of my height, because it's so short, so low down. My other half, she's sat on one in the showroom because she hasn't got her license yet, and she's, I don't want to do a disservice, but I think she's about 5'2", 5'3" maybe, and you know, she feels really comfortable sitting on it. So if you are someone who's maybe a little bit shorter and is worried about the height of a bike, this could be something to look at. I think it looks really good actually. Great looking bike. This one sounds awesome as well because we've got this wonderful Lextech exhaust on it with the pipes wrapped as well. I mean, it sounds seriously good. So talking about other features of the bike quickly, so we've got Nissan brakes, Nissan at the back and Nissan at the front. It's only a single disc at the front. I have found the brakes a little bit weak, but you know, it's trying to stop me probably going a little bit quick, and I've got 90 kilos behind me on the bike. You know, if you're a light person, they're probably a bit better for you. Let's start her up so you can see how that sounds. So the key is down the side here as well. Yeah, a bit neutral. So there's the sound from the exhaust there. Good and bassy, I think. I'll give it a quick rev. I think that is a wonderful exhaust. Wonderful exhaust. Let's turn that off. Okay, so screen. Let's put this on again. So digital screen. You've got your speed, and then you've got your trip, and so on and so forth. You don't have a gear indicator. Obviously, lets you know when you're in neutral, and then you've got the fuel on the side. Indicators. If you're indicating right, you're getting both of them flashing up like hazard lights, similar to what I had on the KTM. But again, you get used to that, I would say. So other things about the bike. So fuel tank at the front there, that's a 11.2 litre fuel tank, and then the wet weight of this bike is 190 kilograms. So really light, really low down, easy to manage. You know, it's a really good option, this, and I think very distinctive. You know, with the angle on the tank as well. That's how I always notice these. That angle on the tank, the way it comes up. I think it's yeah, it's very distinctive. You see a Rebel and you know it's a Rebel by looking for that tank, because obviously these cruiser styles, there's quite a few options out of those. So yeah, but I'm going to jump back on and continue the ride, and hope you enjoy. Cheers. Okay, so here on the Honda Rebel 500, out for the road test. So it's going to be a real life test. We're going to be going through town. We'll then be going out into the countryside to find some twisties to have a bit of fun on, a bit of time on the dual carriageway before heading back, and maybe probably more filtering on the way back. So initial impression straight away, that exhaust sounds wicked. It's a great sounding exhaust. That's the Lextech exhaust. I don't know much about Lextech as a company, but that sounds brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So in terms of seating position, obviously feet are forward. You've got forward controls on this, very much upright in the cruiser kind of style seating position that you would expect. It's alright, it's good. I do notice though that when I'm on these bikes, I had the same thing when I was on the Bobber recently. I find that my legs kind of spread out a little bit, especially my left leg kind of hangs out. Basically man spreading, I suppose, is what some would refer to it as. But it just feels more comfortable. I don't know what it is. Don't know what it is. Okay, there's some quite, being low down, there's some quite big vehicles. I'm not sure if I want to filter just through all the way to the front with the fire engine there and everything. Oh, we might be able to. I'm just very conscious about not being seen when you have these large vehicles around. Obviously the exhaust is a really good tone and quite a good volume, so people should be able to hear me. And Kent Fire Service and Rescue, I mean, those guys are going to be good drivers, well trained, so they should be aware of me being here. But it's just always good to be cautious around these larger vehicles. Let's drop in behind, maybe filter past in a second. So in terms of the dash, we've just got this digital dash here which has your speed on it, and then you've got your fuel as well. There's also a little clock and your trip and various bits like that. There is no gear indicator, which is fine though. Just need to remember to make sure I'm in first, which I am. In terms of the mirrors, yeah, they're good. I don't know why that guy pulled in so quickly. He saw I was coming over, I didn't indicate, but it was obvious I was moving. In terms of the mirrors, we've got these nice little round mirrors, which I like. They're pretty good, I think, in keeping with the bike. And you can see what you need to see. Also easy to adjust. Took me 2 seconds adjusting them when I jumped on. No tools needed, which is good. The tank is very narrow, which again, for people that worry about large tanks, could be something to consider. I've noticed that the indicators on here, when you indicate left and right, it actually comes up flashing both of them as opposed to telling you which way you're going to be indicating, which, you know, it's just one of those things you get used to. It was the same on the KTM Duke 790, I noticed, which was the first time I'd come across it on a bike myself, so it took me by surprise initially, but I suppose it's just something you will get used to. Right, so through town, no problems at all. Let's get around to some twisties. Okay, so coming down the hill there, I was actually surprised at the amount of torque and how quick I was getting up to speed on this. Bearing in mind it is quite a small bike, and you know, quite a bit smaller than some of the other things I'm used to. But no, it got up to speed quite good. I think I missed the gear at one point, so I'll be better next time I'm getting up to speed. The brakes did feel a little bit weak. It's only got the single disc at the front, and I think I actually skidded the front wheel a little bit, which you may have heard on there as well. So that's just something to be aware of. But obviously, I mean, I weigh 90 kilos and I'm probably quite a bit heavier than what most Rebel riders would be, because I'm presuming it's going to be more of the shorter rider looking at this bike. It's definitely got the power to have fun though around these roads, and very, very easy to ride as well. The only concern I have is with that front brake being a bit weak, it's just a question of when you need to lose the speed, you've got to give yourself a bit more time. A couple of things I forgot to mention when I was doing my walk around. So it comes in a couple of colours, well, 3 colours. You've got the red, black and the grey, which I'm on here, and it costs about $5.5 grand. I don't know what the cost is of the exhaust on the back of this one, but I'm telling you, that exhaust is wonderful. I don't know what the stock sounds like, but instantly if I got one I would be upgrading the exhaust. I think that's the same with most bikes really these days. Okay, a chance to get up to speed. Yeah, finding the dual carriageway there. Getting up to speed, not a problem at all. There is obviously quite a bit of wind you're being blasted with, but you know, it's one of those things with a bike which is going to be open front like this. Don't just hate that when you nod to another biker and they don't give you the nod back. I mean, why? It then makes me feel like a chump for giving the nod in the first place. That's what we do. We nod to each other. I don't know. Surprisingly well in the Twisties actually. I mean, it's not the sort of bike which is gonna, you know, break any records in terms of speed. You know, it's only 470 odd cc, but saying that, you know, I've got quite a bit of weight behind me on this, and it gets up to speed pretty quick, feels fun, because you're low down as well. You know, that fun can be had at lower speeds anyway, just because you're closer to the ground, so it excites you more. I think this is a really nice option. The handling as well is fine, effortless, you know, turning it into a bend, accelerating through. The response on the throttle is lovely as well, feels very natural where the power comes in. Okay, quick blast up the hill before taking her back. Yeah, you see, that is good. You can have fun on this bike, which, you know, I wasn't expecting to be able to have as much fun on this bike as I've had moving around. Tank feels wobbly. I'm sure it's not, it's just the way I'm pushing it. So yeah, a lot of fun can be had on this bike, and I think, considering how accessible it is to a lot of different riders as well, you know, I'm trying to think of the people who would be interested in this bike. So you've got maybe your shorter riders are going to be interested in it, ones that are concerned about tour bikes and heavier bikes, because it's light and it's got a short height, a low height. So you know, shorter riders are going to be absolutely fine on this. There's probably also the other bracket of people who are maybe new riders who want to eventually be riding a big cruiser, and they're more sort of cruiser style orientated. So again, for them, you know, it's a great first bike, I think. You know, the power on it is, you know, not going to get you in trouble, but it's the sort of power which is fine for every day. It's not gonna you know, let you down by and put you in odd situations, difficult situations when you don't have enough power, which is something that I always worry about with some of these lower powered bikes, I suppose. But you know, for getting around, the only time when you're probably going to be wanting a bit more power is, let's just say hypothetically, you're on a motorway and you're doing 80 miles per hour and you want to overtake somebody quickly. In that hypothetical situation, where obviously you're way over the speed limit anyway, yeah, you may be wanting a little bit more power. But again, that depends on how much you weigh, I suppose. I mean, I've got 90 kilos behind me, and you know, all of the speeds that you're going to encounter day to day, yeah, they're absolutely fine, and no problems having enough power for your overtakes as well. I've had a few today coming down these country lanes trying to pass things, and you know, I think there was only one, yeah, there's probably only one where I probably could have done it on a quicker bike that I didn't go for. But apart from that, all the others I've gone for and felt there's enough in the tank for it. So the seat, I'm finding the seat a little bit hard actually. I didn't think it would be. I would look at maybe upgrading that, but again, you know, you may sit on it and find it is absolutely fine for you. This exhaust, whew, I love this exhaust. It's got a great sound to it. You know, and I've found situations where you know, vehicles have pulled over for me, larger vehicles who generally wouldn't, you know, they might not realise the bike's behind them if they're not checking their mirrors non-stop, but I think they've pulled over because they've heard me. They've heard me, realised there's a bike behind them, and thought, okay, we'll pull over on this bit because it might be in a tighter section of road, so they just pull over to let me pass, really, which is good. It's a pretty economical bike too. Costs £5.5 grand, but then it does something like 73 mile per gallon, which, you know, those are good numbers, I'd say. It has got a bit of a small tank, but you know, not a problem when you have a high MPG. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to give it a like, maybe comment, is this the bike you're going for, or is this the bike you've got, and any feedback on it to other potential buyers of it. Hit that subscribe button if you want to stay in touch with more of my content. There's loads of bike reviews on the channel, and there'll be more adventures and things taking place on there as well. Many thanks to Honda Maidstone for sorting me out the test ride in this. If it is a bike you're interested in, please do give them a shout. They're a great bunch in there, and I'm sure they'll sort you out. That's it for me, and catch you for the next one. Cheers, bye.